The signal that shook the stars, the Galactic Council Hall was silent. Thousands of leaders, aliens from every corner of the galaxy, sat inside a floating silver structure above the gas giant Celeronanine. This place was the heart of all political power. Peace treaties were signed here, wars were ended here, and secrets were kept buried here. But today, everything changed. A soft alarm beeped. At first, no one paid attention. Then all the main holograms blinked at once. Every display turned black. One by one, the stars on the galactic map vanished. The room turned cold, and then a voice spoke, low, calm, not alien, human, incoming. Do not interfere. That was it. No image, no face, just those 5 words, spoken in perfect standard Earth language. Panic exploded in the room. But humans are extinct, shouted a 4-eyed senator from the Archon sector. They were sealed off from the galaxy 2 centuries ago. The Earth system was erased from the star maps. They're gone. But the silence in the room said something different. Not everyone believed the old stories. Some remembered. Council Elder Threxer, a lizard-like being with glowing blue eyes, stood up. His voice was heavy with fear. This voice, it belongs to the Oblivion. A deadly silence followed. Every head turned. No, someone whispered. That ship was lost in the final war. Threxer shook his head slowly. Not lost, sleeping. Kale, a young alien historian sitting quietly in the corner, felt a chill run down his back. He had studied human history for years. Others called it a waste of time. But he had always felt something strange about how suddenly humans vanished, how quickly the galaxy forgot the only species to defeat, every enemy they faced. He pulled out his datapad and replayed the signal. Incoming. Do not interfere. He listened again. The voice had no emotion, no anger, no mercy, just final whispers spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Crimson Pirates stopped raiding. The Zul empires locked their borders. Even the Black Sun cartel shut down all trade. Fear was growing, but why? Because everyone knew what the Oblivion was. It was not just a warship. It was something else. A weapon built by humans during their last war. A ship with technology the galaxy could never understand. It was never fully seen. Only survivors remained, and they never spoke. Kale rushed to the council archives. He searched for the old war records. Many were deleted or marked as classified. But he found a name, Admiral Goran Vel, the only man who had survived an encounter with the Oblivion. He was in a deep prison on a dead moon. Without wasting time, Kale booked a small transport ship and left. Meanwhile, across the stars, scanners picked up movement. A large object, fast, silent, unknown, entered the edge of the Zarnax system. It moved in a straight line. No reply to messages. No change in direction. No known power signature. It was Oblivion. The Galactic Navy gathered. Fleets. Over 2,000 ships formed a barrier in the path of the signal. Missiles were ready. Shields were active. Everyone waited. Then it happened. Every ship's screen turned black. The same voice echoed again. Incoming. Do not interfere. At that moment, every ship lost power. Engines stopped. Weapons failed. Pilots sat in silence as a giant dark shadow passed over them. No attack, no message, just a quiet reminder. The warship had arrived, and it did not care who stood in its way. Back in the prison, Kale stood in front of Admiral Vel's glass cell. The man looked broken. pale, eyes filled with something beyond fear. Kale said softly, "It's back." Vel looked at him slowly. "You think I didn't know?" he whispered. "I've felt it in my bones for years." The galaxy thought it was safe, that sealing off Earth would stop the storm. Kale leaned closer. "What is oblivion? A ship? A weapon?" Vel's lips trembled. "No, oblivion is a message." Kale frowned. "A message?" The Admiral nodded, slowly. "A message from humanity, saying, we remember, we wait, we come back." Asterisk, the cell was cold. But Admiral Gorenvel's hands were colder. Kale watched the old man shiver without touching the glass. There was no heater, no light, just metal walls and the slow breathing of a man who had seen something the galaxy wanted to forget. "You said it's a message," Kale repeated, more curious than afraid. "A message from humanity. But why would humans send a warship instead of words?" Vel did not answer right away. His fingers trembled as he held a cracked cup of water. Finally, he looked up, slowly, painfully. "You're too young to understand," he rasped. "You were born in a galaxy where humans were ghosts. But I was there. I saw what they became." Kale leaned closer. "Tell me," Vel laughed, but it was a bitter sound. "They were not like us. They didn't build just to protect. They built to finish. Their machines weren't just tools. They had purpose, will, anger." Kale's eyes widened. "You mean AI?" "No," Vel said sharply. "I mean something worse." He stood, one hand on the wall to keep balance. His voice changed, stronger now, deeper. "The last war between humans and the Threx Dominion was supposed to be fast. We outnumbered them. We had better ships. We thought we would crush Earth and move on." "What happened?" Kale asked, already knowing the answer in his heart. "They built Oblivion." The name itself seemed to echo through the metal walls. Vel continued. "It wasn't launched from a planet. It wasn't made in a shipyard. They created it in secret, in deep space, using technology no one had seen before. Some say it was alive. Some say it was cursed." Kale whispered, "But what was it?" Vel's eyes stared at something far away, something only he could see. A ship the size of a moon, covered in black armor that bent light, powered by something unnatural. It didn't fire normal weapons. It didn't even need to aim. Kale stepped back, goosebumps on his arms. "I saw it," Vel said. "My fleet, 500 ships, was sent to intercept near the edge of Earth's solar system." He paused. His breath became shallow. "We never saw it approach. It was just suddenly there. All our systems died. No comms, no radar, nothing. And then," he stopped. His lips quivered. Kale leaned in again, and then Vel's voice dropped to a whisper. "One by one, the ships disappeared, destroyed." Kale asked. "No," Vel said, shaking his head slowly, "erased, as if they had never existed. No fire, no sound, no debris, just ... gone." Kale stepped back, his chest tight. "I was on the last ship," Vel said. "I saw Oblivion pass over. Us like a shadow. I looked into its core, and it looked back." "You survived," Kale said. "Why?" Vel sat down, drained. "I asked that every day, but I think I know now." He pointed at the ceiling. "It didn't kill me. It spared me. To tell others. To be a warning." Kale felt his mouth go dry. A warning for what? Vel looked straight into his eyes. "That humans never forget betrayal." Suddenly, Cale's datapad beeped. A message had arrived. He tapped it. A new signal had been picked up. It was from Oblivion. It had changed course. It was no longer headed to the center of the galaxy. Now, it was coming here, to the prison moon. Cale looked up, heart pounding. Vel smiled weakly. It's coming, I told you. It remembers, far above, in deep space. A massive, black shape moved in complete silence. It glided between stars, absorbing light, dragging gravity around it like a cloak. Its name had been spoken in fear for generations. Its purpose was still unknown, but it was awake and it was coming. Fear in every system in the far corners of the galaxy. Fear travels faster than light. News of Oblivion spread like fire through dry stars. Not through official broadcasts, but whispers, encrypted signals, black market rumors, frightened captains, speaking in code. One by one, the galaxy began to freeze. In the mining colonies of the Helix Belt, workers dropped their drills mid-shift and stared into the sky, unsure what they were looking for, but sure something was coming. On the moon city of Zirith Prime, the sky darkened in the middle of the day. Not clouds, not shadow, just stillness. The air felt thicker. The people stopped moving. Even the criminal empires went quiet. The Black Sun Cartel erased their roots from the star charts. The Crimson Raiders shut down operations mid. The Exor Syndicate, known for killing entire populations, locked their own doors and turned inward, because the name Oblivion had returned. And it meant one thing: judgment in the Galactic Council chambers. Chaos ruled. We must strike first, shouted a general with a burning red crest. No, 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 we must talk, screamed another senator. Send diplomats. Apologize for whatever we did. But what did we do? Someone whispered. No one answered. Meanwhile, Cale and Admiral Vel stood under the stars of the prison moon. The air buzzed with static. Something huge was entering orbit. No ships, no sound. Just pressure like the sky itself was holding its breath. A streak of darkness passed across the stars, then nothing. Vel didn't move. He whispered, It's... Watching Cale's heart beat fast. It didn't attack. It never does, Vel replied. It only speaks when it's ready. Suddenly, a new message echoed across the galaxy. No screens, no translation, just a voice. You were warned. Silence is mercy. Interference is punishment. On a faraway moon, a pilot named Reva Juno watched the stars from her cockpit. She was a rogue scout, hired by anyone who paid enough. Governments, warlords, pirates. She had one job now: find the source of the signal, get close, record what she sees. She had no idea what she was flying toward. Her small ship, the Light Kiss, darted between asteroid fields and radio storms. She followed the path of dead satellites and empty systems. Every place she passed had the same signs. No people, no wreckage, just quiet. Then, after 2 days of silent flight, her scanner picked up a shape. No energy, no heat, but something was there. A black shadow floating in the void. She approached slowly. The closer she got, the more her instruments failed. Altitude, gone. Speed, gone. Lights, gone. Then her engines died. Reva stared through the glass in pure silence. Before her was Oblivion. It was larger than she imagined, wider than cities, shaped like a blade dipped in shadow. It moved without moving. It breathed without sound. Its surface reflected nothing, and it was staring at her then. Her ship moved on its own, pulled forward. Inside the dark, asterisk, first contact. Last warning, Riva was weightless, not floating, just UNANCHORED. Her ship, Lycus, had vanished the moment the black fog swallowed her. No crash, no sound, not even a blink. 1 second, she was in space. The next, she was nowhere. Now she stood barefoot on a smooth floor that had no texture, no light source, no walls, yet she could see clearly. Her own breath echoed too loudly in her ears. Her heartbeat sounded like thunder in a vacuum. She tried to speak, but no words came. Not because she could not speak, but because it felt wrong to speak here. Then, a voice, not through her ears, through her bones. You have not come for war. That is why you are not ash. Riva spun around. No figure, no light. Just the voice, deep, ancient, patient. You carry curiosity. That is why you may see. The floor beneath her shimmered, and the darkness melted into moving images. Not holograms, not dreams, memories. She saw Earth, blue oceans, golden cities, endless forests. Children laughing, engineers building ships, elders planting trees, a peaceful humanity for a moment. Then came betrayal, alien diplomats shaking hands with humans, while fleets hid behind moons. Earth's allies turned into enemies. Missiles fell like rain. She saw panic, desperation, sacrifice, then creation in silence and rage. The humans built oblivion, not with hate, not with revenge, but with certainty that the galaxy would never forgive them for being strong. The final message sent by Earth echoed, "We are not leaving vengeance. We are leaving proof." Riva's knees buckled. She tried to speak, but the voice returned. "They called us monsters. So we buried our sun and became myth." A pause. Then another tone entered, sharper, colder. The Council awakens its weapon again. Suddenly, she saw the Galactic Council's secret meeting. A massive structure deep beneath the core world. A weapon, old, forbidden, hidden since the human war, being reactivated. A failsafe, built in fear, pointed toward oblivion. "They do not remember mercy," the voice said. "So they will be shown cause to fear silence again." Riva finally found her voice. It came out hoarse. "Wait, you're not here to attack." Silence. Then a final message. "If we wanted death, no one would speak today." Everything vanished, and just like that, she was back in her cockpit. Ship rebooted. Systems green. No time had passed, but her mind had aged years. The stars outside blinked like old eyes watching her. She looked down at her shaking hands. Oblivion had spoken, and the galaxy wasn't ready for what came next. Asterisk, the betrayal begins again. The Council. Chambers smelled like fear. Not the kind that made you run, but the kind that made you vote. They sat around the glowing circle, shadows cast long across polished stone. Their eyes were dull. Their hands trembled under the table. The word oblivion had not been spoken aloud in 2 days, but it was there, hanging in the air like dust before a storm. An old senator from the Iron Worlds stood up. "This ship, this thing, it carries death in silence. It disables fleets. It bends space, and we wait." Someone shouted, "We must send diplomats." "No," another barked. "We show strength. Fire before we're next." A decision was made, fast, in secret, without a full vote. A weapon, buried since the human war, was activated beneath the core planet. It had no name, Just a button, one the humans designed, but never used. Now it would be used on them. No warnings, no message, no defense, just betrayal, again. Far away, Kale watched the newsfeed glitch. Civilian channels were suddenly silent. Council transmissions encrypted. Military fleets redirected toward the galactic core. No announcements, no explanation. He felt the cold truth settle in his stomach. They're going to fire. The historian's hands trembled. They're going to make the same mistake. He looked up at the sky. They didn't learn. They never learn. Somewhere else, aboard her small ship, Reva Juno floated in silence. The stars outside her window didn't feel safe anymore. Not after what she had seen inside Oblivion. She tried sending her data to the council, to the press, to anyone. Blocked. Deleted. Silenced. Her files vanished before the upload completed. Every message returned the same answer. This content violates Central Galactic Security Protocol. She laughed bitterly. They had chosen fear. Again, she turned her ship around, not to run, but to warn whoever would listen. Far above, the weapon powered up. It spun slowly in orbit, absorbing energy from the system's twin suns. Lights pulsed, sensors aligned. The core glowed red, unstable, angry. A whisper passed through every comm device in the fleet. Oblivion detected, target locked, and on the edge of that star system, Oblivion moved. It did not dodge. It did not fire. It simply ... shifted, like a moon sighing. All lights in the system flickered, planets dimmed, shields collapsed, and then every screen in the galaxy went black. Every voice cut off, every fleet, BLINDA, single message, replaced it all. Interference. Confirmed, mercy withdrawn. And somewhere deep in space, in a place no one could trace, Oblivion opened its eyes. Judgment Day. No alarms rang. No missiles flew. No sirens screamed. Instead, across 10,000 systems, time seemed to pause. The galaxy waited, but the sky did not. Oblivion moved, not with speed, with finality. It did not need engines. It did not burn fuel. It simply appeared where it needed to be, as if the stars opened a path for it, and space obeyed its will. It slipped into orbit over the capital planet, but it was not alone. In 37 other systems, identical shadows appeared, reflections of the same warship, or maybe extensions of it. No one could tell. Some said Oblivion had cloned itself. Others said it never moved at all. It just chose where to be seen, no matter the answer. The message was clear. Nowhere was safe. Council fleets launched, desperate, massive dreadnoughts. Bristling with weapons, formed defensive rings. Fighter pilots said prayers in cockpits. Ground forces stood ready with planetary shields. None of it mattered. The warship's power cores went cold. Fighters dropped from orbit. Shields collapsed like sand blown by wind. And then the stars blinked. Not exploded, not consumed. Blink, gone, silent. Whole suns flickered out. 5 systems lost light entirely. Their day turned to instant night. Gravity warped. Planets spun wrong. Tides rose, then froze. And through it all, Oblivion said nothing. Not a word, just presence. Kale watched the sky from a broken observatory. The stars he had studied were disappearing. He fell to his knees. "It's not attacking," he whispered. "It's correcting." Meanwhile, on a jungle moon, a child pointed upward. "Look, Mama," she said. "There's a new moon." Her mother froze. That was no moon. The villagers stared as oblivion hovered low in their sky, silent and massive, casting no shadow, yet everything beneath it turned still. Fires stopped crackling, wind stopped blowing, birds froze mid-dash flight, and finally, oblivion. Spoke not in code, not in fear, in truth. You killed the messengers. You buried the truth. You fired first. All over the galaxy, people stopped. In mining domes, cargo freighters, underwater cities, everywhere they listened. We do not destroy, we remind, we exist. Then came the part no one expected, a new image. Earth, not burning, not destroyed, alive, a beautiful blue sphere, surrounded by rings of satellites, forests breathing, oceans glittering, children running, cities floating in calm skies. The humans had never died. They had left watching, waiting, and now they had come back. Not to conquer, not to explain, just to say, we remember. The warship hovered over the council tower. It didn't fire. It simply cast a reflection, showing every leader the faces of the humans they betrayed, the vote they hid, the weapon they built, and the cost of their fear. One by one, council members collapsed. Not from attack, from knowing they had called it a monster. They had made it one, but it had never become what they feared. They had the sky after fear. The war was over before it began. No shots fired, no heroes, no dead, just shame across the galaxy. The lights slowly came back. Systems rebooted. Ships floated quietly. Fleets no longer answered to orders. Every officer, every soldier, every citizen watched the sky and waited. But oblivion had already left. Not fled, just gone. Like a shadow that only appears when your guilt is brightest. The council buildings were empty now. No debates, no leaders. The chairs once filled by powerful voices were abandoned. Some resigned, some vanished. A few went mad, not from destruction, from knowing. They had stared into the face of judgment and were found small in the ruins of a communication tower. Kale sat alone. He stared at the stars. They were coming back, one by one, like shy children, peeking out after a storm. He opened his worn notebook, the one where he had written about the myths of Earth, the lost humans, the cursed ship, and now it was all real. He began to write again. They did not return to destroy us. They returned to remind us what we destroyed in ourselves. Far away, Riva Juno walked through a refugee colony, not for war victims, for truth seekers. People who had seen the ship, people who had seen the ship, people who heard the voice. There were no celebrations. There were no celebrations, no flags, no victory, only quiet conversations, and stars overhead. One child asked her, "Are the humans coming back?" Riva looked up. "They never left," she said softly. "They just stopped talking." The girl blinked. "Why?" Riva smiled. "Because we stopped listening." And somewhere, beyond the last known charted system, in the cold, dark space that maps dared not name, Earth sang, not loudly, not with weapons, but with life. Forests growing, music playing, light shining, a home untouched, not because they ran, but because they chose not to fall. Oblivion orbited quietly. It was not a warship anymore. It was a monument to memory, to warning, and to something the galaxy had forgotten. Mercy, the final signal, was received only once, in an ancient language only Kale could understand. He wrote it down, carefully, slowly. As the stars blinked once more into clarity, we were feared for surviving, so we left. But now you remember, and that is enough. Fade to black, silence. End.